Welcome to the Dear Brother Podcast, my guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, man. We're going to get into something today. We're going to get into this thing called trust the process, bro. You know what it is? It's God's plans versus your plan. We all got a plan, man. But we all know that life sometimes can completely throw your plan off. And what you thought was going to work out, what you thought was going to come together, sometimes it falls completely apart. You know what I mean? Sometimes that thing falls completely apart and you just in disheveled in your mind. You know, especially when you worked at something, especially when you put the energy towards something, especially when you have invested your time, your money, your income into where you're going. Sometimes it blows your mind that it doesn't work out. One thing I've learned, man, I must say that even though I thought I had some bomb plans, bro, some things fell apart because they had to. You know, the biggest thing I learned is that sometimes things fell apart because it would have hurt me later. Do you know we all got parts of our life, man, things in our life, attitudes, mindsets, even people. I used to say this often, man. Do you know there's certain things that God can't even do for you because of the people you surrounded by? You know what I call them? I call them parasites. When you got so many people surrounding you that they're looking for you to come up so they can take from you. And you know what it is, man? God's plan is so good sometimes that not only does his plan work out, but he's going to make sure his plans works out to make sure that you're in the right setting. There's some things, man, that won't work out because you're around the wrong people. Or again, you got the wrong mindset. Some things sometimes have to change before you can get where you got to go. Sometimes God got to make you proud of yourself. Sometimes we deal with low self-esteem. Do you know, man, it's dangerous to have a great idea and have low esteem and don't believe that you can really get where you're going. There's a lot of things, man, I'm gonna tell you that sometimes got a crack in your life for it to come together. But that process, man, trust it because you're going somewhere. You know what? And this is another thing: is we as men, we want to boss up, we want everything to be in control. One thing I learned, bro, is that we're not in control of nothing. We not. now, now I'm not saying we should live as men, we should live a wishy-washy life where we all over the place. But let the truth be the truth, bro. You're not in control of nothing. You know, you don't know what's going to happen day to day. In fact, the scripture says that time and chance happen to every man. I mean, y'all know what I'm saying. You wake up in the morning, it's like, yo, you never expected a car accident. You never expected your tire to be flat. You never expected somebody to pass away. You never expected certain sickness. You know, I was on dialysis at 37 years old. I never thought I would be on dialysis. Man, in fact, it was a time I didn't know what dialysis was. You know, time and chance, man, happened to me. Health issues. We all know this, man. Love can fall apart. Something can happen with your children. You know, again, dreams can fall. But this is the thing, man. When you start really looking at your plan and you start saying, even in our boss up way, we got to submit this thing sometime and realize that sometimes there's a better setup. But one thing I'm telling you that'll crack your arrogance right in the head, man, is that listen, God's plan don't need your approval. It don't, man. That's a hard reality. It's hard to accept sometimes that God's plan don't need your approval. Your approval. You know what? You know what He really needs from us? Surrender. Surrender. Sometimes you got to surrender to the way things is. Sometimes your marriage is upside down and you want it to be a certain way. The best thing you can do is surrender to how it is in the moment. Why? Not because you're a weak man. Not because what's the word they like to use online? Not because you're a not the alpha man, but the beta. You know that these terms is out of control now. Not that you're a beta male, but sometimes, man, you waiting for time to put things certain things together. There's people that you really got hard feelings towards. Some people that did you dirty, did you wrong. You know, sometimes you got to wait for time to bring those relationships together, or sometimes time proves that it can't be put back together. You know, you ever sit somewhere and do something wrong and you swore you was right? As men, sometimes we like to think we right. And then you sit with it long enough and be like, man, you know, that wasn't right. Something you need to ask for apology for. See, that's because, man, the process of time will make things better. That's why you got to watch your pace as a man. You can't just run through life doing things fast, moving all quick and in a hurry. Sometimes you got to watch your pace, man, because listen, your pace sometimes as men, we move so fast. And you know why we move so fast a lot of times? Because of our rush to get something, or our rush to get somewhere, or our rush to be something. You know what the danger of that is? You're rushing to be what you already are. See, the greatest thing I can tell you today, man, and hold on to this, is that whatever you're trying to pursue is you got it already. See, that's the world system to make us always pursuing something. I got to run. I got to go get it. The best thing you can do is get a hold of yourself. because you don't lack anything. Everything you need is already in you, waiting for your expectation of it. Man, put that in your back pocket. Everything you need is already in you, waiting for your recognition of it. Search yourself, bro. Search yourself. That's where Adam fell. And again, when I bring up scripture, I'm bringing it up. I believe scripture, but you don't have to believe scripture to understand the principles I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying? This is a principle. Adam was good. God gave Adam everything he needed. You know where Adam messed up, and you know where we mess up too? We mess up searching outside of ourselves for what we already have or what we already are. That's where we fall apart, bro. We search outside of ourselves. Don't search outside of yourself, man. You already got it. But you got to trust that process from outside, and you got to trust that process from the inside. See, too many of us, man, we live a frustrated life because we keep trying and trying and trying at certain stuff. When really, what you got to really try to do is make room for God's plan. That's what it is. You got to make room for God's plan. And sometimes God's plan don't make no sense to you. But again, bro, you going to keep on walking your way? You going to keep on trying to fix it your way? Come on, we all been down that road. Half the time, we don't fix nothing. Many times we make it worse. See, women run by emotions. We run by logic. And because sometimes we run so much by logic, which is no problem. That's the way we're made. Just as much as a woman is made to follow her emotions. You know what? Sometimes our logic gets in the way of faith. Sometimes we look around and our logic is in the way of something bigger happening in our life. Because you can't see it, don't mean it's not going to happen. You got to move out of the way sometime so that things can align for you. You ever been worn out? We wear ourselves out, man, because we don't sometimes let things come together for us. Man, and man, I don't know who watching this, man, but I believe this is for somebody. So you didn't see, I don't do these podcasts by accident. And I don't do them, I do them, I'm led, man. I pray. What should I say? What should I put on this podcast? Because I know that there's brothers out there just like me who needed some direction, needed some guidance, man. And I know that you're not watching this by accident. Most times, man, what I find when you all reach out to me, email me, or hit me in the comment section, it's like, yo, that was for me right then and there. Man, that's because guess what? It's God's plan, bro. It's God's plan. You listen to this right now, because I'm gonna tell you there's something bigger that you can't see. And what you got to do, bro, is learn to align. You got to learn to align, man. And I'm not just talking. I didn't start this podcast because I'm some guru. I am not your guru. I'm your brother. I'm your brother that been down some dark alleys, man, some harsh things, or losing my parents early. Dad going 59 suddenly. Mom going 62, cancer, 10 months gone. 4 months after my dad, I'm burying my daughter, doing their eulogies. Man, life, you can't control the winds of life. You got to lean into the hard spaces. You got to lean into the good spaces. But I'm going to tell you, you know where faith begins? Faith begins when your control of things start to end. When you realize, man, I don't got it. I can't do it. And as men, we say, oh, that's soft. That ain't soft, man. Sometimes it's time to quit. Sometimes it's time to quit. Why? So things can come together for you. But learn this lesson, bro. Delay don't mean it's not going to come together. Delay don't mean that what you want is not going to work out. What it means is that you want everything around you that's right? You want the right woman in your life. Sometimes you need to be single. You want the right friends in your life. Because imagine this, man. Imagine everything coming together for you, but then you're around a bunch of bloodsuckers. Everything coming together for you, but you with the woman that's going to totally screw your heart up, crush your dreams. See, you want things to come together so you can enjoy the harvest of whatever you've been working hard for. That's the real life. That's what you really want. See, don't rush, bro. All you can do fast is crash, my man. All you can do fast is crash. And we've been there. You've been there with a woman. You've been there in a relationship. You love your kids, but some of y'all, you got them kids out of a crash out. And then you look up and say, man, what was I doing? I was rushing too fast. I was moving too fast. You wasn't in love, bro. Some things happen in a moment that cost you a lifetime. So slow your pace down. Know that you matter. Know that you count enough to slow your pace down. Why? So you can see what's going on around you, right? We women talk about they got intuition, man. We as men, we can look all the way down the line. That's why sometimes some of you married guys out there, you trying to tell your wife what's about to happen. She's like, oh no, this and that. That's because the woman is looking short-sighted through her emotions, right? We got the long game in us, but you know what wants to come crush the long game? What wants to crush the long game for you is pace. I need that now. No, you don't. And guess what? You don't need nobody else to tell you that. Sometimes you got to tell yourself, yo, I don't need that right now. Nope, I don't need that. I don't need that. Let me hold off on that. Right? Let me make sure my heart is right. Let me make sure my attitude is right. Let me hold off on that purchase. Let me hold off on that relationship. Let me hold off on what I'm about to say. How many times have you hurt yourself, bro, because you was moving too fast with your mouth, moving too fast with your commitment, then look up and realize that you either don't want to do or can't do what you said. Now your manhood is on the line. No, bro, slow your pace down, right? Because one thing I've learned, man, about us, about men and my counseling, and guess what? Some of y'all that want coaching, bro, one-on-one coaching, go to my website, christianwinters.com. christianwinters.com, bro. You can set up a one-on-one with me. Let's talk. Let's talk. Don't hide from what's going on, and don't live in the corner in the box. Because I'm going to tell you what happens in the corner in the box when you're not trying to say nothing and you ain't trying to rock the boat, or you holding stuff in from your relationship, you holding stuff in from the bad day at work and things falling apart. Eventually, man, you're going to give yourself to that bottle. You're going to give yourself to that rug. You know what I mean? You're going to give yourself to something that you don't want to. A bad thought's going to stick right here. You know, some things you can't lay on the lap of a woman and say, bro, you know that. You need a brother. So look, you can go anywhere, bro, to get help. I'm just saying I'm available. christianwinters.com, bro. I'll coach you. I'll coach you through some things. And the thing is, my coaching is based on you talking to where you want to go. My thing is, let's move the weeds and show you that where you want to go is not as far off as you might believe. Because this is one thing I learned, man. A lot of times God's plan going to break you before it makes you. It's going to break you so it can rebuild you into the person that you really want to be. Man, there's some stuff in our lives, man, that you don't even want to be like that, and you don't even know how it got there. You know, or you know how it got there, but you don't know how to move it out of your way. Man, it's time to look up and live, bro. It's time to look up and live, because the good thing about brokenness is that brokenness will teach you something about yourself, and brokenness will teach you things that blessings never will. Come on, man. You know, let me put this book up right quick. I got it. I want to show it to y'all. Home Where Hurt Men Heal, bro. I wrote this book. In fact, I got it right here. I wrote this book in 2022, bro. Living in a car. I was living in a 6-bedroom house, bro. Everything came together. I thought I made it. Bro. It's on Amazon. Go check it out. Home Where Hurt Men Heal. I thought I made it. And guess what? All of a sudden, everything was gone. I'm like, yo, what happened? I was sitting in that car one night, man. I was saying, dang, man, like what happened? And you know what I learned that night? That I had control of everything but me. Right? I got to know everything but me. I was acquainted with everything but me. I was in a car, sleeping in a car in the parking lot with COVID, with enough money to buy a snack and a gallon of water, bro. And you know what? I learned more about myself in that moment, because it was nobody to please. It was nobody to put nothing together for. It was nobody to show off for. It was nobody to give my all to. Finally, man, after 30 something years of giving myself to everybody else and everybody's needs and everybody's desires and speaking and traveling the world and doing it all, man, one thing I didn't have was me. I didn't know how to fix me. And a lot of times I found myself being healed by what I was giving to other people. I felt like, all right, I can heal as long as I'm healing them. But healing them don't make you better, bro. Giving yourself away to everything and everybody, it don't make you better. It leaves you lacking more than you should be lacking. It really does, man. So understand, man, that God isn't just preparing you for a blessing, man. He's preparing you to handle the blessing he gives you. Because what good is it to have a blessing that you can't handle? What good is it to have the family that you don't really know how to care for because you haven't developed yourself as a father, as a provider? What good is it to climb to the top and you left a blood trail of friends and family? Ain't no good, bro. So God's plan versus your plan, man. I'm gonna tell you, you know. And now I know I don't want none of y'all saying, "Hey, man, well, my plans don't matter." Yeah, your plans matter. Your plans matter, but you better know that the wind will blow at times, and that plan won't work out. Not because it wasn't a good plan, but many times, bro, there's a better plan for you, and you got to grab a hold of that. You got to accept that. It remind me this weekend I got to speak at one of my brother's church. I ain't put the message together yet, but in my head, I know what I want to say. Um, from agony to acceptance, right? Because I've been there, bro. I don't have to pull out a scripture for that. I've been there. The agony of what you about to go through, and it's like, yo, you going in the back and forth about whether you can avoid it. How can I not go through this? And really, the strength is to accept it because you know it's coming. But what you accept going to take you to somewhere else. What you accept going to take you to somewhere else. Fighting it ain't going to do you no good, right? Because our life as men, man, is about purpose. In order to reach that pinnacle of purpose, man, there's some things that got to go. There's some things that got to be separate. You got to be separated from. And guess what? Some things you got to be separated from were good for a certain time in your life, right? It was good for a certain space and place. It got you through some things, but this other better life, this better man you're about to become, this better father, better husband, better leader. What you needed to get you through the rough times, you don't need in this space, right? You ever ruin something because you brought a old mindset or an old attitude to something new? Yeah, you can ruin where you're going, man, by dragging that baggage. So there's some things again you needed them for a season, but the question is, you got to question: do I need that now? Do I need to be like that now? Do I need to operate like that now? Do I need to function like that now? Because now is different than then. And sometimes the armor you had to put on then, you don't got to put on now, man. Don't ruin your life carrying baggage, bro. It's no good for you. It's no good for you. This is the truth, man. Many times what we lose, it's like, man, I don't want to take this loss. But what we lose is moving out the way because something greater is ahead of you, man. It's something greater ahead of you, and you got to know that. The loss is not to take you under. Sometimes the loss is to measure just how much you've grown, to measure you for where you going, man. Man, sometimes God's plan includes letting go of things. Sometimes God's plan involves being separated and being moved away from things you thought you had to have. But you know what? The loss ain't about breaking you, man. It reveals what you really need. So walk it out, man. So you can walk into your future not handcuffed to your past, not handcuffed to what you used to be, not handcuffed to people that don't respect where you're going or who you've become. Anybody addicted to keeping you tied to your past deserves to stay right in your past. You got to know that, man. So this is big, and I want to finish with this. I want to finish with this. Ultimately, God's plan in your life is not even about you. It's about touching people's lives who may never reach where you reach and go where you go. It's about your kids and having a destiny in a future that you might not have had. It's about opening spaces and places for other men and other women and other businessmen to walk through. So it's not just about you, bro. It's about you being the trailblazer that you are. So take what you got to take on the chin, bro. You ain't going to get knocked out. You're making a way, man, for somebody else. Hey, man, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for hanging out with me today, man. I love you. Make sure that you do. Make sure you do. Walk this life out, man, every day with no fear, no shame, and no compromise, bro. Look, let's end this podcast like we do every other one. Yesterday is history, and tomorrow is a mystery. All we got is right now, bro. What you going to do with it? What you going to do about it? If it's God's plan versus yours, bow out, bro. Bow out so you can become the man of your own dreams. Yo, I'm out of here, bro. Until the next time, June 1st, Dropping my new book, Dear Brother, Be the Blueprint to Becoming the Man of Your Own Dreams. June 1st is on Amazon. Go get it, bro. And for some of y'all battling with shame, I got an ebook on my website, christianwinners.com. Go to the store, selling it right now for $9.99, bro. I taught a 3-part series, then I decided to write the book on it, Removing the Shame. If some of y'all been battling with shame and guilt and doubt, go grab this book, bro. It'll be the greatest $10 investment you ever made. It'll change your future, bro. Hey, man, you matter. Know it every day and walk it out, bro. I believe in you. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Dear Brother podcast where grown men keep on growing, bro. And